we go. Okay, guys, welcome to our regularly scheduled Monday night call. Tonight we are going to be talking to you about ranking up and sharing with you some practical, kind of takeaways that you can implement, and hopefully that will, help you to grow your business and to ultimately rank up, whether it's silver, super silver, gold, senior gold, and onward and upward. We're all kind of working towards that. My name is Kelli Foster, and I am a Senior Ruby Ambassador. And I'm here tonight with Julie Stoughton, even though her name says Kelli Foster. It's actually Julie Stoughton. She's going to wave. And we're just going to kind of be bringing you this information together. She's going to chime in, and she has some things to share as well. But if you have a piece of paper, if you have something that you can kind of take some notes on, I find that writing things down just kind of helps to make it a little bit more permanent. And, especially if you are newer and you're really just kind of starting to branch out, it will just kind of help you to have something as a resource that you can refer back to. Maybe that's the teacher in me, but I'm going to give you just kind of some practical steps, and you can, do more or less depending on where you are in your journey. But for starters, certainly when you're beginning to reach out, and depending on where you are in this journey, you'll need to have a Franks list. And so we refer to that, quite frequently. Your Franks list is just a list of people that you are acquainted with, your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, so on and so forth. And depending on where you are in your journey, I have been doing this for, in November, it'll be 2 years. My Franks list is huge. And, my Franks list is ever evolving. On day one, when I started my, my Plexus journey, I decided I was going to share it. And, I didn't know everything there was to know by any means, but I was learning, and I was sharing what I was learning as I went. And so I watched one of the new ambassador boot camps from Julia Carty, and she told me to write down my, my list of 100 people that I know, friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kid associates, and I always forget what the S is. But that's what I did. And at this point, I have certainly reached out to all of those people. My Franks list is, probably close to 500 at this point. And I do keep a running record of when I reach out to them. I keep check marks next to their name as I follow up. I highlight them once they become an ambassador or a customer. But my advice to you is, if you are brand new and just starting out, start with 20. 20 is very feasible. If you are trying to go silver, this is your inner circle. You're going to think of, your sister, your mom, your aunts, your cousins, in your friends, in your inner circle of friends. Who would benefit from these products? Who needs these products? Who needs this business opportunity potentially? And so you are going to, you're going to reach out to them, and I'll talk to you a little bit about what that looks like and sounds like in a minute. But certainly we don't want you to be overwhelmed with, how big your Franks list needs to be. If you're brand new starting out, then you maybe want to start with 20. If you've been doing this for a while, we want you to go back to your Franks list. If you've been doing this for a while, you should be adding, people to your list regularly as you add people to your feed on Facebook, etc. Those should be adding those to your Franks list. We want you to share daily. And so, that looks different depending on where you are in your journey. But in general, again, I'm going to keep referring to the Julia Carty New Ambassador Bootcamp. And we have talked about updating this, but it's still really solid material. If you are wanting to work this business, if you're wanting just to go silver, and so, for now, that's what we use, and it's very user-friendly, and it just gives the basics for sharing. And so if you haven't been sharing on Facebook, that's okay. I was not sharing regularly at all on Facebook, and what I was sharing is probably, has changed a whole lot, but we want you to be sharing regularly, because here's the thing. People don't know about gut health. They don't know about blood sugar regulation. This is new for them. And so as you are posting, and we want to talk to you about posting intentionally, what you're really doing is you're educating your Facebook audience, and they need time. This is not something most people, although if you're going silver and you're locking arms with your best friend and your cousin and your mom, and you're saying, I want you to do this with me, let's get healthy together, let's go on this journey together. That's a little bit different conversation. But if you were, let's say you've gone silver and your inner circle has trusted you and they have locked arms with you, and now maybe you're trying to work towards super silver, this is where you have to start putting a little bit more intentional effort into adding ambassadors to your team. And so you're going to be posting every day. And so we want you to be thinking about quality over quantity. It used to be that, we could post all day long, but Facebook has really battened down the hatches on the Facebook algorithms, and they're really trying to push out the sales element to Facebook. And I hate that word, because I really don't feel like we are salespeople. I feel like we are sharing something that, is definitely improving the quality of people's lives. But, excuse me, they're really trying to gear towards posts, excuse me, I gotta check my throat, that people are going to interact with you, and so Julie, talk about that for a second while I get a drink of water. Oh.
Okay, sorry, I was muted so you didn't hear my family noise. I was busy looking up S and Frank's. It's service organizations.
I think I got it. Okay.
So, sorry.
That's okay. So we're talking about quality over quantity. So I want you to think about 2 posts, one plexus post and one non-plexus post. And you're also thinking about what value is your post adding to their lives. So when you are thinking about your personal post, does this glorify you? And this is kind of like a hard line, and I really struggled with it for a while there. Or is it offering something to your Facebook community, something emotionally charged, something that they can take away from it? So you just want to be thinking about, like, what value is this post adding to my feed? You want to make sure that your images look good. And I've talked about this a lot, but it's so important. This is a time where network marketers are coming out of the woodwork. Direct marketing is exploding. And so really we're competing for, people's attention. And so if you are not adding value to their page, if you are not drawing their eye to your page, then we're going to lose them. And so you really want to, when you take a picture of whatever it may be, you really want to make sure that you have a clear image. You want to make sure that it looks good, that it's appealing. And we talk about attraction marketing. And so it kind of is freeing if you think about it. Instead of having to post all day, if you need one quality post, you can spend a little bit more time on it. And just make sure that it's adding value. Make sure that the content is, something that's going to appeal to your audience. Think about who your audience is. Who are you trying to appeal to in that post? And so just put some thought into it. And I know that's work, but this, there is an element to this. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, at the stage that I am in, this is my business. I'm working my business. And so I do put, quite a bit of time into my posts. And so that's just something to think about and to be working towards.
And Kelly, they also said, the more genuine your posts are, the more teaching your posts are, that could be the difference between someone wanting to go with you versus somebody else. As long as you're benefiting them and, they will feel more comfortable with you based on what you're posting. That could be, you know, as we're getting bigger and overlapping friend markets, that might be a reason why someone would go with you as opposed to somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
By your style.
Yep, absolutely. So we have one personal post and one Plexus post. And so I'm going to say this again. I know we've said it before, but if it's your first time hearing it, we really strongly encourage you to move away from graphics. And I know that graphics are easier. They're just easier because somebody made them and you can just save that image and you can throw it on your page. But what sets you apart from the people who are selling on Facebook is not using graphics, to be quite honest. And I don't think there's any content in a graphic that you couldn't recreate with your own picture. If you're talking about BioCleanse, take a picture of your own bottle of BioCleanse in your own hand. You know, that's how you are sharing your journey. You're showing that Plexus is a part of your life and you are sharing your health journey. If you put a graphic of BioCleanse up there, you're a salesperson. And so, I mean, I've used graphics before. We've all used them. And I think especially in the beginning, it's kind of like a stepping stone, but this is just food for thought, something for you to think about. If you can take your own picture and still give the content from the graphic, then you should do so. And that's what's going to set you apart from people who are selling on Facebook.
They want to see that you are actually using those products and what you are using.
Right.
I know I got to be better at that.
Okay, so we want for you to be reaching out every day, and this is certainly a stretch. In the very beginning, if you are trying to go silver, you are really just kind of locking arms with your inner circle. And these are people who already trust you. And so you can look them dead in the eye and say, I'm learning, we're going to do this together. We're going to have accountability. It's going to be fun because we're going to get healthy together. We'll learn as we go. If it doesn't work out, we can get our money back. These are kind of the talking points when you're trying to go silver. When you're moving beyond silver and you've kind of exhausted your inner circle, you really do, I would say if you're at the point of super silver, you have to move to the next step. And the next step is cold messaging. And that's a hard thing for many of us. I would say for most of us, but it is the next step for your business to grow. So I think right now, just looking around on this page, most of the people on this call are in an IPA challenge right now. So I'm mostly speaking to people who aren't on this call. We do, we have lots of scripts and lots of support for reaching out because in the beginning it is indeed scary. But I just want to say a couple things about it. When you reach out to people, and I'll give you a specific example. Lisa Hudson, who's my upline, she reached out to me in a cold message. And I have always been into health and wellness. I've been on a health and wellness journey since I got out of high school. I remember it like a line in the sand. And so when she reached out to me, I told her no. I told her I did respond to her because she's somebody that I went to high school with. But I did tell her no, thank you. I told her I was all set. But what happened was like a light switch. I went from scrolling past everything that she posted on Facebook to reading everything she posted on Facebook. And so this is my biggest piece of advice is do the reaching out, do the IPA, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. And when they don't respond, because more often than not, they don't. People don't respond because they really don't know what to say. But when you reach out in a cold message, what you have done is you've planted a seed. And so really what we are doing is we are planting seeds. And so, the seeds that you plant today, you are going to harvest later. And more often than not, those people are going to come back to you. They're going to come back to you later. And so when we talk about IPA, I've heard a few people, and I know it's summer, and so some of us are feeling like, things are slowing down a little bit. That is the nature of network marketing. That's the nature of our business. You're going to have ebbs and flows. You're going to have highs and lows. Your business is growing, it's exploding, and then maybe sometimes you're going to have some attrition. But I've showed you this, kind of trajectory before. If you think of, a straight line, you're going to have those peaks and valleys. But as long as you have forward motion, as long as you are every day doing your IPA, your business is going to grow. You're going to get there. Lisa posted something today that said baby steps is still forward motion or something like that. So as long as you are doing that activity, which means you're posting every day, 2 times a day, you're reaching out to people, there are lots of different IPA sheets that we have used in the past, reaching out to 5, following up with 3, teaching 1. That's kind of like a standard for me. The IPA challenge that we're on right now is having you reach out to 2 people a day. And so, like anything, the more you put into something, the more you're going to get out of it. And so hopefully in this IPA challenge, you're reaching out to more than just the 2 people a day, but the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out. And there's nothing that is going to turn around a lull in your business than activity. And so when you're feeling those, those moments of discouragement, Julia Carty talks about this all the time, disciplining your disappointment. Maybe you've lost one of your, customers. Maybe you haven't added an ambassador this month and you feel disappointed and you feel discouraged. We've all been there. But what are you doing with that? She calls it disciplining your disappointment. And so when I feel that way, and I'm a human being and I feel that way too, I dig into my IPA. You have to just churn that activity and you have to just go back to basics. If what books are you reading? What are you doing to pour into yourself? And the biggest one for me is belief. What are you doing to build your belief? Because when you're reaching out, that can be shaky ground for a lot of us. Maybe our belief isn't as strong as it could be. Maybe our confidence is shaken. And so are you intentionally doing activity that build your belief? What leadership books are you reading? What videos are you watching? And that is the first thing that I do when I feel that. I don't pick up the phone and call my upline and say, my business is in the toilet right now. I open a book. I turn on a video. I pour into my belief. I pour into my business. And, that would be my advice for you for keeping for disciplining your disappointment and for, getting that activity rolling again. And so if you are a person who you're thinking, okay, I don't know where to get my hands on an IPA sheet. I don't know what this IPA sheet looks like. I told somebody the other day, if you will fill out an IPA journal every single day, you will be diamond. And it's not that simple. You have to do some personal development along the way too. But, that's the activity that is going to build your business. And so, if you're reaching for that next rank, are you filling out an IPA sheet every day? That's super important. Julie, do you want to talk about enrolling people properly? Okay.
Sure. So, the most important thing is to get them on the telephone. And when you want to enroll them, get them on the phone, go through the steps with them, and make sure that this way, if they have any questions, you can go through, setting up their subscription order, and telling them the importance of having that subscription order on, because we do have a big problem with that on the team also, of subscription orders not being on. And also once you get them enrolled, going on to their back office with them and make sure they are able to log on to it, show them where the shareables are, and also tell them, show them where their subscription is so that they can make adjustments if needed, add to it and whatnot. You don't want me to go through the 8 steps, do you?
I wouldn't, but I don't think so, but
Yeah.
just so that everybody's aware. Like I posted a video earlier today. It's from Amy and Eric Paul. They're a double diamond household. They've been doing this business for 2 years, and Amy and Eric are both diamonds. They're crazy good at what they do. They are Brooke Hemingway's upline, Emily Gibson's upline. And so the same philosophy, their team is exploding because they're doing so many things well, and they're sharing it with all of us. And so to not take the tools and use the tools that we've been given would be silly of us. And so, you know, if you're not sure what those 8 steps are, then you need to reach out to your upline. But those 8 steps are enrolling them on the phone so that you can, you know, make sure that you deal with objections to their subscription order. I can't tell you how many people I looked into my back office today and how many people would be ranking up if they have the number of ambassadors they need, but their subscription orders aren't on. And so in the beginning, day one, when they're excited, they're not buying an annual membership. They're not signing up for Plexus to buy it 1 month. They've bought your why. They've bought your belief. And so they're excited. They think that they're hopeful that Plexus is going to work for them, that it's going to change their health and happiness. And so while they're excited, while they're feeling that energy, you are getting their subscription order turned on for them. They have to be consistent or they're not going to get the results. If we miss that opportunity and do not get their subscription order turned on, they have to make a purchasing decision when they feel like crap. And so, you know, it's timing. It's just poor timing. And another thing, when we talk about enrolling them right, is using language that is strong and confident and appropriate, expectation-wise. You know, they need to understand that this is a 90 to 6 month, you know, commitment, 90 days to 6 months. You know, 60 days is not enough. Some people do feel amazing results quickly, more readily than others, but really you want to set the expectations appropriately so that they're not getting discouraged. You're probably going to feel some die-off as Probio 5 kills candida, and that's a toxin. And so you want to have those conversations on the phone so they can hear the confidence in your voice, so that they can have appropriate expectations. And that's your retention. That's what's going to keep them, that's going to build your business, and that's what's going to give them the results. The video that I posted, I hope you'll watch it. One thing that she said that just really resonated with me is if they don't hear this confidence in your voice, they are not going to buy the products from you. And that was huge for me. You need to be able to say to them, and this goes back to belief and building your belief and being intentional about belief. You need to be able to say to them, these products are going to change your life. Your life is about to change. Your health and happiness is about to change. I am so excited for you. We have to get this subscription order turned on because we cannot let you run out of products. And so it's that tone, it's that confidence. That's what they're going to buy from you. If you're like, oh, you don't need your subscription order on, phooey, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're shooting them in the foot. And so be intentional about building your belief. Watch some videos, read the research on the ingredients, whatever you need to do to build that belief. Practice if you need to. Okay, all right, so the 8 steps. If you don't have those, reach out to your upline and we will make sure that you have them. But there are 8 steps to thoroughly and properly enrolling a new ambassador, which go all the way down to asking them to share on Facebook immediately. And
that is on our team page and the files. The 8 steps are listed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. All right. Want to do like 5 don'ts? We have 5 don'ts for you. You do one and I'll do one. You go first.
I'm going to go first. All right. I'm going to say, don't focus on what you don't have. Don't sit there and say, I don't have any ambassadors, I don't have any runners, I don't have this, I don't have that. Focus on the people that you have, pour into them, and work with what you got. Don't focus on the negative and what you don't have.
I love that. And I'll just add on to that really quickly. Amy Paul, in that video that I watched today, she said, I was a wholesale ambassador for 7 months. She was a wholesale ambassador for 7 months. So at her upline, complained, I don't have any runners. You know, she had Amy Paul waiting in the wings to build a double diamond business underneath her when she was ready. So instead of complaining, I don't have any runners, pour into your wholesale ambassadors because they are not your runners yet. You know, most people don't come into this business from day one going, okay, I'm going to build an empire. Most people don't. A few do, but pour into your wholesale ambassadors because those are your future runners. Those are your future Amy Pauls. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say, don't choose to complain, choose to work. And so we've been doing a lot of Rachel Hollis stuff on our team, and she's all over the internet right now. And it's kind of piggybacking on what Julie talked about. But, you know, instead of complaining, and I say this all the time to, you know, my team, to whenever I have a personal conversation with you, you know, focus on what you can do. What control do you have? Do those things. Dig into your IPA, open up a book, turn on a video, do some follow-up, you know, but choosing to complain is ineffective. It's completely ineffective. And you are focusing on the negative instead of focusing on what you do have. So don't choose to complain, choose to work.
Okay, and then don't make excuses. You know, with a lot of teachers being on our team, and you know, even people who just work, it's very easy to be like, you know what, I'm starting back to school. I don't have time to do this. I'm busy. I'm doing all this stuff, and that's fine if you truly don't want to work your business. You know, if you do want to succeed, you're going to have to. Don't make excuses. Every time, everything is busy. Everyone's busy. It's never a great time. It's never going to be a good time. You just have to do it. You just have to set your priorities, find out what works for you. I realize that, I can't stay at home and work. I've got to go somewhere. I'll sit here and clean toilets, and I'll do, a bunch of other stuff. I always find stuff to do. So I know I have to remove myself and get the work done. School's starting. It's going to be busy. I might have to get up an hour earlier in the morning. I don't know. I'm not going to make an excuse. I'm going to make sure that I keep moving.
And Julie and I talked about this a little bit because this language came from the video that we watched, and I'm like, gosh, is that hard language? I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and that's something that I struggle with because I want to be gentle, but I think that's good. I think that we all need to hear that, don't make excuses, and find a way instead of, making an excuse, find a way. Okay. Don't give up. That's mine. When you've reached out to somebody and maybe they have not responded, don't give up. And so your follow-up is going to sound like, what are you waiting for? Girl, you are crazy for not jumping on this for me. The next month, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm still thinking about you. One of these days you're going to join me and we are going to kill it together. And I'm going to talk about Kristen Berry. I don't think she's on this call, but she was one of my very first ambassadors, and she's been a wholesale ambassador for 1.5 years, and I have been chirping in her ear for 1.5 years. One of these days you're going to be on a cruise with me. One of these days you're going to be in Maui with me. Can you imagine one of these days we could retire and we could be vacationing together? And so I've just been feeding little nuggets, little tidbits, little morsels, not giving up. And, she's finally feeling like she wants to share these products. So don't give up. Last but not least, Julie.
No, that was 5.
No, that was 4.
I want to replay this. That was 5. Okay. All right. I can think of another one. We talked about disciplining your disappointment. That's not a don't, though.
How How about don't quit?
You said don't stop.
No, I said don't give up.
Oh,
Different from don't quit.
definitely don't quit. You know what's, I truly believe they say if you follow with your IPA sheets, you give this 4 years. 4 years, they're saying emerald and above, you know, hopefully diamond, but definitely emerald. Doing those IPA sheets, don't give up. Help your upline find an accountability partner. You know,
Do it scared.
What's that?
Do it scared.
Do it scared.
You know, be scared. And this is scary. Well, we're all doing things that are scary, that are new, that we're pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. And, you know, we can be paralyzed by fear and we can quit, or we can do it scared. And
my next one, don't be comfortable. Be uncomfortable.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I mean, we have a nice, intimate, small call. So if you have questions, it's a good time to, you know, we've talked about tapping into these resources. If you want to rank up, let me say this. If you want to rank up, if you're feeling like your business is kind of stagnant, plug into every opportunity you can plug into every Zoom call, on our team, on Lisa's team, because when you build those two things, you're building relationships, which helps to give you support. You know, when you're doing something that's scary and you have people patting you on the back and people telling you, you got this, girl, people loving on you, that feels amazing. And it shows you that you can do anything, right? So plug into the tools and the trainings. That is going to build your belief. It's going to build your support system. It's going to propel your business. So if you want this business to, that should be our final thing, I think. If you want to rank up to the next rank, plug into more systems. Look at the systems you have, plug into more systems. And that's the next step, whether it's IPA, whether it's reading books, whether it's hopping on Zoom calls, but being intentional, you know?
Being involved.
I started talking after I asked for questions.
Okay.
Anybody have questions? Certainly you must have questions.
I have a question.
Is it Courtney?
Oh, Alexis.
Okay.
Hi, sorry.
We can't see you, so we don't know who's talking.
No, but I was eating dinner with my family. It's our anniversary.
Sure. Oh gosh, happy anniversary.
All right, so I hope I'm not one of the complaining people, because I really wasn't trying to be complaining when I messaged you and Julie, but I did talk to Plexus today because of this whole, like, this is my customer, it's your customer, blah, blah, blah. So I did call in, and indeed this person did go to switch, even though I had put in like 2 months of educating, and this woman came to me first and educated her. I was abroad, tried to hook her up with Julie, back and forth, and turns out she signed up with me because she did already sign up with me, as you guys know. And then she put in for a transfer today. So she signed up like yesterday, the day before. I messaged her, like, I'm like, woohoo, you're on my team, yay, we're gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. And then I call just to check up on another person that had an issue, and indeed she did put in for a transfer to this other person's team, which I really just want to put out there. Make sure you ask, have you been talking to anybody else? Because this is with a close friend, and it's awkward. She needs it more than I do. I totally get that, but it doesn't make it easier to lose somebody that I worked on.
Yeah, that's a good point. You do need to mention that earlier, because, you know, it is surprising how that wasn't brought up by the other person. Do you know what I mean? Like, that she didn't bring it up, and sometimes they don't do that. So you need to, you know, that is an excellent point. Make sure you ask before you get going, you know, because it's important.
Let me say one thing about it. You can ask, and they may or may not tell you, and it may or may not change the outcome. But I want to say one thing about that, especially where we are, as more and more people are talking about Plexus. What we have, what we are creating, and this is an analogy that I just heard from Eric and Amy Paul, but what we have is trees full of ripened fruit. So if you think about, they went to Hawaii, they were the first ambassadors in Hawaii, and nobody knew what Plexus was. And so they were starting from scratch. Here, you know, so I've been talking to so-and-so, and then time has gone by. Remember, there's that time that people need to learn and to process and to pay attention. And then they move on and they see Missy, and Missy starts talking to them, and then some more time goes on and they're friends with Julie on Facebook, and maybe Julie hits them at the right moment in their life where they're ripe and
ready.
That's the nature of this beast. And so I just want to throw that out there. It's happened to me several times. I'm sure it will not be the last. And so when people say that, you know, when they say that, and I'm like, oh, well, I was, you know, ultimately I'm happy that they have these products in their hands, and we have to try not to take it personally, and just kind of remember that that's the nature of, you know, becoming a, we're certainly not saturated, but becoming a more, you know, talked about, people are paying attention to gut health. They're learning, they're hearing it from more than one person. And so, you know, I know that kind of stings, but I think that you handled it beautifully, for the record, Alexis. And no, we were not talking about you. We're just in general.
I know, but she came to me, and so of course, I don't even know. I messaged her just on the 12th, and this happened on the 8th, like within the week. I gladly would have helped her. She had already signed up as a customer with me. Like, it wasn't like it was, oh, I just talked to her, blah, blah, blah. She was in my back office already. So it's not like it was just, oh, I talked to her, wah, wah, wah. She was actually a customer. So it is not fun. Of course, and because she's like my tipping point right now. So bye, see ya to this ambassador. So I thought I learned this last fall. Remember, I don't know if you remember last October on conference night when this happened with another friend who signed up with her high school friend, which, okay, I get. She knew her since high school, but I had been talking to her too. So anyway, I thought I had already had to learn this lesson, and I'm surprised. So number 2.
Yeah, like I said, I can relate. It's happened to me several times, and it won't be the last. And so,
but the tipping point is a rough one.
I hear you.
It's not like it's just a stepping stone. Like, this is a big deal this month, especially.
Wow. Maybe harness that energy, and I mean, if I can offer you anything, you know, maybe discipline that disappointment and kind of dig in and maybe move on, right? Because we can't go back retroactively and change the outcome.
Oh, but just like, I mean, even the woman at Plexus today was like, well, I think she said to email compliance to let them know that they need to add that into their training. Like, who have you been talking to anybody already? Like, before you get deep into it, because this other woman didn't find out until she was at the point of actually signing her up on the computer.
But even if they have been talking to somebody else, they're not under any. I talked to Mary Beth 2 months ago, and I talked with her a lot, and I spent a lot of time with her. And then, you know, next month she runs into Teresa, and they didn't realize that they're at the same gym, and Teresa starts talking to her and signs her up. She's not under any obligation because I talked to her first.
Someone already signed up with an account with me, so that's where it's like, what? Okay, whatever. And I know ultimately it's just for her benefit, and I get that. But just want to say that was my whole point, was find out if they've been talking to someone.
Yeah. I mean, you're just certainly a fair question.
Right.
Does anybody else have questions before we?
With the training stuff, I know you talked about obviously listen. Like, I've got to go. I know when we get off this call, I'm going to go listen to the one that you posted today. Actually, I want John to listen to it too. But I haven't done yet the rank up roadmap between gold to senior gold. Is that I'm sure that corporate sees that as a very valuable tool, and I did use it and did all the steps, you know, going up to gold. is that something else that you might want to make people aware of if they don't know it's there, that they could use the Rank Up roadmap in the back office for training as well?
Going on and on.
Of course. And you know what? That's actually part,
The other girl, like, really?
when you do watch that.
You don't even know.
Sylvia.
When you watch that.
Sylvia, I can hear you.
When you watch the Eric and Amy Paul, they talk about that. When you enroll people, you know, going into their back office, and we really have not done a fabulous job with that, going into their back office with them, showing them, you know, how to access the shareables, showing them how to access, Rank Up roadmap for sure. And so, you know, absolutely, we could do a better job of that. Thanks, Teresa. Yes.
I don't really have any questions. I met with, like Sharon and I got together the other day to sit down and kind of organize each other's, I don't know, thoughts and how to, you know, how I do things and how she does things and try to play off each other. You know, I told her some things that worked for me when I signed somebody up. I have a folder for this. I have a folder for my Frank's list. I have a folder for my IPA sheets, and keep everything in a binder. I tell her how we were just trying to help each other, and how we could build our teams. And for me, like Marianne is the only person that I have that's really, you know, working the business. And I've had many people say they want to work the business, and through text messages and encouraging, they're just not doing it. And I just keep telling myself, I'm going to rank up level one at a time. I'm going to just keep moving forward one person at a time.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate that, Missy. And, you know, that's the beauty of being on a team, you know, is having people to support you and encourage you and come together and brainstorm. And, you know, to hear you say, I think it's worth repeating, you know, Julia Carti, our own Diamond Upline, she had 42 level ones before she had a single runner. And so, you know.
That is amazing.
Well, I'm almost there, but they just don't order.
Right. So to hear you say, I only have Marianne, I want to hear you say, I have a runner, right? Yeah. You have a runner. And so that's us just changing our language and focusing on what we do have and not focusing on what we don't have, because we will have it, right? You keep doing your IPA, you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, and those things are going to come. So it's a mindset thing, and it's a habit that, you know, we all have to work on changing. And
well, you know, I think that I try to have that positive mindset. Yes, I did say I only have Marianne, but Marianne is amazing. And I tell her that every week, you know, and we do communicate. And would I like to get the lead out of some of my people's asses? Absolutely. But I still send that positive, you know, affirmations to them and tell them how excited I am that they're still, you know, trusting me and they're putting their health first. And that's what's most important to me. Right. So as long as I'm helping people feel better and get better and helping on their mindset, I'm okay doing one person at a time to get where I need to be a diamond.
Perfect.
And then you'll get your Amy Paul and bam.
That's right. Okay, so you guys, before we go, if you have any questions, just raise your hand, but I'm going to wrap up here. Before we go, congratulations to Sylvia and Missy, who we can't see their beautiful faces, but they both are super silver. And so we are so proud of you girls. Kudos to you. So they're moving towards gold, and we all have a goal, you know, say your goal out loud, you know, write it down, tell your husband or tell your upline. That accountability goes a very long way. And if your goal is X, what are you going to do to get there? I hope that you will watch that video. I hope that you will access the tools that we really do work hard to bring to you You know, when I post a video, when I, you know, post about the ingredients, I'm doing it for you. So I hope you'll plug into the tools and use the tools, and, you know, let us know what you need. And, you know, we're a team, and together we achieve more. So on that note,
Excellent.
I love you all. Hi,
Here's
Missy.
Missy. She showed herself.
Perfect.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dinner, and you didn't want to see me like run around the kitchen. So, but thank you very much.
Thanks for jumping on, even though you're eating dinner and all that.
Yeah.
Because I was getting harassed by my kids saying, "Nice job, we can't see you." So,
And Alexa's coming, even though it's her anniversary.
That's
yeah, no kidding.
You guys rock. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good week.
Yeah,
Enjoy,
great week.
enjoy your last week of bliss, teacher friends.
That's right. All right.
By the way, I am really close. I've got the problem is all of my people are like 26 and 27.